Hey everybody, welcome to the Roller Skate Dad podcast. This is episode number 18. Let's get started.
Welcome to the Roller Skate Dad podcast, the show that covers everything and anything in the wonderful world of roller skating. Now, here's your host, the Roller Skate Dad himself, Jeff Stone.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Roller Skate Dad podcast. I want to thank you guys so much for being here. Today we kick off a series of podcast episodes that are going to focus on getting started with roller skating. As I stated in my first few episodes of the podcast, one of my main goals with the Roller Skate Dad website, podcast, and the Roller Skate Dad Club is to get more people skating, or to get people who used to skate back out roller skating again. It's a big mission of mine, and I think roller skating is amazing and fun and enjoyable as a hobby, and it's great exercise, and it can be social, and it's just fun. And I'm trying to do anything I can to get more people out there skating. So these next few episodes are going to be for those just starting out roller skating for the first time. And even if you are already an accomplished skater, I hope you'll get some use from these too. I hope you enjoy them. Let's get started. Today's episode is going to really be focused on getting into the right mindset. I call this the skater's mindset. And it's really summed up simple. Yes, you can skate. I know some of you may be thinking, what? The right mindset? Don't I start off with, buying a pair of roller skates? No, you don't. I know this may not seem like the very first thing you need to do, but honestly, I think most people don't roller skate because they don't think they can. I don't hear this from children, but mainly from adults. People who either haven't skated or they haven't skated in a long time. And so it doesn't make sense to be talking about, hey, you need to go pick out a pair of roller skates if you're not even in the mindset to skate in the first place. So most people give up on the idea before even thinking about buying a pair of roller skates. I'm 44 years old, and when I tell people I roller skate 1 to 2 times a week, I usually get responses like this. I haven't skated since I was a kid. Why are you roller skating? Isn't that for kids? Aren't you too old to be roller skating? Aren't you afraid of getting hurt? I wish I could still roller skate. I wish I had learned how to roller skate. Where do you roller skate? Those last 3 are my favorites, but I have to say that most adults I talk to who don't skate are usually pretty negative about it. When I push them and say they could learn how to roller skate too if they just give it a try, I usually get responses like, I would die or kill myself if I put on a pair of skates. I'm a klutz. There's no way I could skate. I'm just not good at that. I'd look like an idiot out there. I can't skate. And the super serious adults will just give me a good stern no. I know when friends and family start saying things like, I wish I could still roller skate, or where do you roller skate? That I have them at least interested in possibly trying to learn. And that's honestly the first step to getting started roller skating. The very first step is getting people over the idea that they can't skate. Yes, you can skate. You can do anything that you try to do. You just need someone to help you get there, a few pieces of the right equipment, and a time and place for practice. That's it. I think a lot of the fear, especially as an adult, comes around getting hurt. And sure, if you're skating for the first time, you might get hurt. It's possible. And I want to say that those of you out there with that fear are reasonable to have that fear. And if you've never skated before and you go out there and you buy a pair of skates and you just start skating, you definitely have a higher likelihood of falling down and getting hurt. But I think you can seriously reduce your chances of getting hurt if you just start off in the right way. It just takes following a few simple steps, and you can definitely roller skate and stay safe if you start slow. My motto for anybody that's trying to learn how to skate, including beginner skaters, is if you can walk, you can learn how to skate. It just takes the right steps, the right equipment, and time for practice. Next, I know I hear some of you out there listening who are doubting whether you can even do this. I hear a lot of people when I'm trying to get them to start skating saying, I'm going to look like an idiot out there. There's no way I can do this. I even met many people who have gone out and bought $200, $300, $500 pairs of roller skates or rollerblades. They skate one time and then they never put them on again. My common response to people who are afraid what they're going to look like the first time they go out there, people who are like, I'm going to look like an idiot when I go out there. I'm going to look dumb. I usually say, yeah, you probably are going to look bad out there the first time. And I follow that up with a nice smile. But it's true. Anytime you're starting out something for the first time, you're not going to be great at it. That's just the way things work. It takes time and practice to get good at anything. I always remind the beginner skater that everything starts out slow. Everyone starts out not very good. We all suck at the beginning. That's what makes learning, excelling, and eventually being great at something so rewarding. The key is to be patient with yourself. You got this. You can do it. And if you have children or you know any children, I'm going to give you a technique that you can try to help give yourself confidence when you're trying to do something new, like learn how to roller skate for the first time. And the technique is called talk to yourself like you would talk to a 3-year-old. And it goes something like this. Imagine you know a small child and you're teaching them how to roller skate or do anything for the first time. Would you tell them, you're going to look like an idiot out there when you go to roller skate? Or how about, you're not going to be good at skating at all? Or there's no way you can do this? Would you say that to a 3-year-old or a 5-year-old or even a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old? No. Well, first, that's good. It's good that you would say no. But I hope you don't talk to a child that way. I know you wouldn't talk to a child that way. Now, if you're talking that way to yourself, though, why? You have to stop that. You have to stop saying that to yourself. It's not helping you. It's keeping you from learning and trying new things. A friend of mine calls that self-doubting voice we all have the mean girl or the mean boy. The voice inside that tells us that we can't do certain things. That voice that is meaner to us than anyone else that we talk to. So do yourself a favor right now and tell yourself you can roller skate. Go ahead, say it out loud. I'll wait for you. I can roller skate. Say it again. I can roller skate. See? You can do it. I know you can do it. If I could do it, you can do it too. So as you guys know, I've been skating for roughly about 25 years. I'm 44 years old now. And I skated from the age of 8 until I was about 18. And then I stopped for about 10 years until my daughters were old enough to skate. And then I've been pretty much skating since then. So for the last 15 plus years, I've been skating pretty regularly every week. And I thought I would tell you just a quick story about me. And maybe this will help some of you out there who are just learning how to roller skate for the very first time, or who are thinking about it but haven't quite committed yet. I grew up pretty uncoordinated as a kid. I wore corrective shoes and I had pigeon toe. And pigeon toe, for those of you who may have never heard of that before, that's where your feet point inward at a 45-degree angle. And mine was pretty bad. My feet did point inward almost at a 45-degree angle. And I didn't have to wear the corrective shoes with the big vertical metal bars, but I did have to wear corrective shoes themselves without the metal bars. If you've ever seen Forrest Gump running and he's got those corrective shoes on with the vertical metal bars going down the sides of his legs, I had the shoes, I didn't have the actual bars. And so in my case, these shoes were supposed to slowly turn my feet outward so I would actually walk normally. And I remember the first time I tried roller skating, it was hard to keep my feet straight because I wasn't used to having my feet forced to be straight like that, except when I was wearing the corrective shoes. I was in my parents' garage skating with my sister Kelly. I was 8 or 9 years old, and we were skating around and around and around in the garage. And as you can imagine, you can't roller skate with your feet pointed inwards. They have to be parallel. And, skates are just kind of like that. And anyways, I really got into roller skating. And even though it was hard at first, it got easier with practice and time. And in those early months, my sister and I roller skated every week, 10 to 15 hours a week, usually in the garage, in the house, or up and down the sidewalk and in the driveway. And after several months, my sister and I started skating at our local roller rink, Form Roller World in Grand Prairie, Texas. And after that, we signed up for skating lessons there and learned how to properly skate forwards and stand on one foot and do crossovers and skate backwards and eventually graduate up into the roller skating artistic team that we had there at Form. And while we were a member of the artistic team, we got to learn how to do jumps and spins and all kinds of other cool stuff. And then we started actually competing against other skaters from other cities and other states. And once I was a member of the artistic roller skating team there, I practiced 20 hours a week at a minimum after school for about 5 or 6 years. And at the age of 14, I won a national artistic roller skating gold medal in freestyle skating. And I know some of you will say it's different because I was a kid and you're an adult and that kids learn better than adults. And I'd say you're right. That's true. I mean, I have 2 kids. They do learn things a lot faster than I do as an adult. But I think one of the main reasons for that is because they don't have all of that self-doubt. They don't know the words, I can't, or too hard, or worry about hurting themselves. They see something fun and they just go out and do it. I think this is especially true of little kids. So please, let's move past this self-doubt. Encourage yourself. You can do this. I believe in you. Now believe in yourself and get out there and skate. But not just yet. We have a few more things to cover before you get out there and start rolling. The next thing to understand is how to set the correct goals and expectations for yourself. This is a big one for me. I suffer just a bit from being a perfectionist, and I often get very upset when I can't do something well, especially the first time, or when I think I can do more in a short period of time than what I'm actually capable of. Both of those things really get under my skin. Learning to be patient with myself is something I'm still teaching myself to do as an adult. And there's a good reason why you need to be patient when you're learning roller skating or anything new for that matter. It takes time to get good at anything in life, and roller skating is no exception. So first, set the correct expectations for yourself. Something like, in the first week, I'd like to have a pair of roller skates, a place where I can skate, and times picked out when I can skate. After the first month, I'd like to have roller skated at least 6 times. After the second month, I'd like to be able to roller skate forwards for an entire session without falling down. These are good, small goals that you can easily achieve in the time frame given. But I have to warn you, if you're anything like me, your brain may just not work like that. I know mine doesn't sometimes. When I start something new, I see the Tara Lipinski or the Brian Bottano or the Apollo Anton Ono on skates and think that's going to be me the first time I put them on. Sorry, no, that's not going to be you the first time you put your skates on, or even the 1,000th time you put them on. Sorry, I didn't mean to burst your bubble there, but all 3 of them are world-class Olympic ice skaters. And it takes a lot of time to truly master a skill at a professional level. I found a nice website online called Zen Habits that covers this topic pretty well, and it's a popular blog on Zen, stress relief, and learning. And they state that to truly master a skill, it can take up to 10,000 hours. Now, this is mastery that we're talking about, not good at or not falling down. Mastery, being really, really good at something. Their article is titled, "The Only Way to Become Amazingly Great at Something." And according to their article, they say, first, you must learn it by reading or listening to others who know how to do it, whatever skill it is that you're trying to learn. But most especially, you have to learn by doing. Second, then you have to do some more. At that point, you'll start to understand it, but you'll suck. This stage could take months. Third, you need to do some more. After a couple of years, you'll get good at it. Step 4, do some more. If you learn from mistakes and aren't afraid to make mistakes in the first place, you'll go from good to great. Now, I know what you're thinking. Great, Jeff's telling me I have to roller skate for 10,000 hours before I'll be any good. No, that's exactly what I'm not saying. I do believe to be an Olympic athlete, you're definitely going to need to approach that kind of a number, or probably even more. And good news, that's only 417 days if you skated 24 hours a day. If you practice 3 to 4 hours every day, you're talking about 7 years to get to 10,000 hours. If you skate 2 hours a day, you're talking about 14 years. But again, having 10,000 hours of any skill under your belt is mastery level. We're just getting you started roller skating, getting good at going forwards without falling down. That's a good first step. Then progressing to standing on one foot, then doing some crossovers around the corners, then going backwards. You could definitely learn how to do all of that in several months of consistent practice. According to Josh Kaufman, who's another author of a few books out there that I've read, including First 20 Hours, Learn Anything Fast, he claims you can learn a new skill in as little as 20 hours. For those of you just getting started with skating, I think the true answer to how much practice you're going to need before you become good at roller skating is somewhere in between, but it's definitely not 10,000 hours. And of course, it also depends on what your definition of good is too. For the definition that we're going to use here for you as a beginner skater, the first step would be, can I roller skate an entire session without falling down? That's a good first step. And that is not going to take you anywhere near 10,000 hours to accomplish that. At the age of 44, with 25 years or so of skating experience, I've maybe skated 10,000 total hours. And I'm no world-class Olympic athlete either. So wrapping this up, as a beginner skater, you should get some good goals for yourself. And those would be, first, getting into the right skater's mindset. Believing, yes, I can skate. Second, getting a pair of roller skates and the correct safety equipment. And then third, learning the first few sets of skills. These would be things like learning how to stop and fall down, learning how to skate forwards without falling down, and learning how to do crossovers. So my advice is to first get in the right mindset. Tell yourself, yes, you can skate. If you can walk, you can skate. Roller Skate Dad says so. It must be true. Second, you need to know that you are going to fall down when you first learn how to skate. However, if you start slowly, you won't fall down as much. Most people fall because they can't control their skates at the speed that they're going. Control your speed, and you have less of a chance of falling. Third, Rome wasn't built in a day, or even a week or a month. You're going to need practice when you first get started. The more you practice, the quicker you will get better and excel. I have broken down learning how to roller skate for the first time into sequential steps that we're going to cover over a number of these upcoming podcast episodes. The first few steps can be done in just a couple days, whereas others may take you days, weeks, or even months to master. Let's go over the 15 steps or stages that you'll go through to learn how to roller skate. The first step was getting in the skater's mindset. That's what we covered today. You can't learn how to do anything if you don't think you can learn how to do it. Second, now you need to get your roller skates and your safety equipment. So next week, we'll talk all about how to pick out the right equipment if you're a first-time skater. After that, you don't just start skating. You got to learn how to fall properly. You should not start skating until you have the right equipment and you know how to fall properly. Stage 4 is all about learning how to stop. You also shouldn't start trying to move until you know how to stop. Let me ask you a question. Would you drive your car if you didn't know how to use the brake and all you knew how to use was the accelerator? No, you wouldn't do that. So why would you do it on roller skates? Yet, when I go to my local skating rink and I watch people roller skate every weekend, I see dozens of people who never were taught how to stop. They just know one speed, go. And then they usually wind up crashing into other people or into walls to stop, or they fall down to stop. Stage 5 is actually what most people would consider stage 1, which is skating forwards without falling down. This is the first big step. But do you see how it's step number 5 and not step number 1? And there's a reason for that. Learning all those other steps before you actually learn how to start skating is going to help you so much more. You'll already be ahead of most people because you're starting off with a better foundation. Most people usually just jump straight to this step without even thinking about steps 1 through 4. Once you can skate forwards for a considerable period of time without falling down, then you're going to want to start step 6, which is learning how to stand on one foot. I typically start people off with standing on their dominant foot, the one that they're most comfortable on. And this is the first step in learning how to do forward crossovers. If you can't stand on one foot, you can't properly do a crossover. Step 7 is standing on the other foot. So you need to be able to stand on one foot on each leg to progress to crossovers. Step 8 is actually doing crossovers, being able to get around corners and not lose speed by crossing your right foot over your left. Once you've gotten crossovers down, then it's time to turn around and skate backwards. Stage 10 is moving to backward crossovers. This is where you're going backwards, and if you're going in a counterclockwise fashion, you're going to cross your left leg over your right foot. Then the next 4 steps are all about turning forwards to backwards while you're skating. So stage 11 is being able to turn from forwards to backwards on 2 feet. Stage 12 is being able to turn from backwards to forwards on 2 feet. So in essence, if you can get both stages 11 and 12 down, you should be able to turn in a complete circle as you're skating down the floor. Stage 13 is being able to turn from forwards to backwards on 1 foot. And stage 14 is being able to turn from backwards to forwards on 1 foot. Once you've gotten past stage 14 and you can do all of these different turns, you can skate backwards, you can skate forwards, you can do crossovers, then you're on to stage 15. And stage 15 I call moving in to a specialty. And moving on to a specialty would be something like speed skating or artistic skating or jam skating or roller derby or roller hockey. Or if you're not really into any kind of competitive sport, maybe it's more shuffle skating or learning different dance moves that you want to do during a session. But a lot of these stages that I just covered are very necessary to be good at either a roller sport or to be a better rink skater during session. I named out 15 different stages just then, and I don't plan for us to have 15 podcast episodes to cover all these. We're going to group a number of these together into one episode. However, we are going to talk about each stage in more detail, so that for the beginner skaters out there who are listening to this program, you actually get the confidence and you get the instruction that you need to get out there and skate. Next week, we're going to talk all about picking out your first set of roller skates and all the safety equipment that you really need if you're skating for the very first time. As you get better at roller skating, you may not need the safety equipment, but in the beginning, it's great to wear it because it just gives you that one extra feeling of security so that it doesn't keep you from wanting to get out there and skate. So we're going to talk about some different kinds of skates in a variety of different price ranges and why most people should start cheap and work your way up to a more expensive pair of skates. You know, excellent high-end skates can easily run you over $500. A lot of the artistic skates that I used to wear when I was a kid cost $1,000. No, I'm not joking. They really cost that much. So you can spend a ton of money on roller skates if you really want to. But if you're just starting out, you don't need to spend that much money. For $250 or less, you can get everything that you need, and that's brand new skates and all of the skating safety gear and equipment that you need. And honestly, with a few different tips and tricks, you can actually get all of that stuff for even less than that. So that's what we're going to cover next week, so you'll want to be sure to check it out. Until then, get in the right mindset, the skater's mindset. You can do this. You can roller skate. Don't doubt yourself. I believe in you. All right, everybody. That's going to do it for this week's episode. I want to thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed that. That was fun for me. And I'm really excited to bring this series of podcast episodes over these next few weeks. Because like I said, one of the main goals that I have with this website, podcast, and the Roller Skate Dad Club is to get more people roller skating. And so we really need to break through the fear that people have about roller skating and give them a really good foundation to get started with so that more and more people get out there and skate. If you'd like to get more information about this episode, if you'd like to see some of the links that I talked about during the episode, or if you'd like to leave me a comment, or you'd like to read a transcript about this episode, you can get all of that information over at the show notes. To get to the show notes for this episode, head on over to rollerskatedad.com/18. If you've been listening to the Roller Skate Dad podcast, you know here at the end, I always ask you for a rating and a review on your favorite podcasting platform. Downloads, ratings, and reviews are how podcasts get ranked on many of the platforms. So if you'd like to help the Roller Skate Dad podcast out, I'd really appreciate a rating and a review wherever you listen. And thank you. If you're not a member of the Roller Skate Dad Club, you're going to want to join. Sign up is fast and easy. All it takes is your name and your email address, and you're in. The Roller Skate Dad Club is a great way to stay in touch with me, stay up to date on what's going on with the show, as well as the rollerskatedad.com website. Plus, you get easy access into every monthly contest where I give away free roller skating gear. Head on over to rollerskatedad.com to join the skate club today. All right, everybody, that's another episode in the books. I want to thank you guys so much for being here. And until next week, get on out there and skate.
Thank you for listening to the Roller Skate Dad podcast at www.rollerskatedad.com. If you liked what you heard today, please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, or wherever you're listening.